Confrontation is what I want to talk about today in as short a sentence, paragraph or video as possible. But before I do, what's going on? How you doing? Tell my 23 subscribers that have still hung around, and to anybody who is not a subscriber but is keeping both eyes, their telescope and the binoculars on me and my channel. It seems there's a few pigeon carriers out there, and it's comforting to know that I've either got something interesting to say, or maybe in other people's eyes something that they can use as leverage against me or my character. That's fine. I have no problem whatsoever with that. I'm out there to be judged, and I have no qualms about that whatsoever. What I would say is I want to thank, because again, the confrontation, thank people for firing a big log onto my fire and giving me a wee bit more motivation on the fight ahead, and what's to come in the days, the weeks and the months. Yep, so confrontation. It's been 3 months since I've done the last video. There's been plenty of talking points. There's been loads of things that I wanted to have a conversation about, just to spread a bit of information or talk about things, but I haven't been quite centered, if I'm honest. You know, my mind's been dragged in a lot of different directions. Obviously the day-to-day things are held to ransom to jobs, money, family, takes precedent, and as I say, it holds you to ransom sometimes in what you can do or where your mental space is. But there's been a lot of things, I'm not getting any younger in life, that I've sort of wanted to do. So as I say, my focus, my purpose has been sort of pulled off in different directions in the spider web, because you know, anybody that does actually know me personally, at 42 years of age, I managed to do a first ever gig a few weeks back there at Blackstaff FC's football presentation. So some of you might have seen that, and it's something that I've been so passionate about all my life is music. I write songs, but I've never done anything like that before. So it has always been something, if I had the time, that I wouldn't mind giving a bit more time to. So my mind has been conflicted with maybe going to do that a bit more. But again, it's time frame. So trade of thought has been 25% there. I was actually very, very close till running as an independent in the elections which just took place yesterday. Very close. I'd give it really severe consideration. I'm glad I didn't, because politics is not something that really I'm interested in at all, and it's a deceitful, murky spider web anyway. So that was another 25% that my mind was conflicted, that was sort of taking my train of thought away, and a couple of other things, just football and stuff, and you know, so that's why I haven't really dived into doing any more videos and spreading any more information. I wanted to try and get a clear path of what it was I was looking to do anyway. So I'm going to do a few more videos. I want to maybe get into a wee bit of interviewing and maybe some sort of journalism or something like that there. So yeah, I've been really conflicted and not centered, not focused on one thing or the other, juggling and toying things that I would like to do, things that are feasible to do. Because as I say, I'm not getting any younger, and spreading yourself thin is not something I really want to be doing anymore. I want to try and find a wee bit of purpose in something that really means something to me. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is something a bit more personal about myself. It's confrontation. Somebody said to me a long time ago that they found me very confrontational. And you know, it sort of struck me as if you could go out to look confrontation, but that's not the case. Anybody that knows me well, knows me close, knows I have a saying. One of my main sayings is there's two types of people in life. There's problem makers and there's problem solvers. Well, I'm a problem solver. And when confronted with a problem or conundrum or Rubik's problem, whichever way you want to describe it, or scenario, I like to try and solve that problem. I don't add to the problem. I don't put a wall in front of it. I try and knock the bricks down, knock the wall down, overcome the hurdle. And that's the type of person I am, and that's the type of people I like to deal with. In life and day to day, people bring problems to you. You're confronted with problems, whether that be scenarios or people. So then you have confrontation of opinion and ways to solve that problem. And I always try and break it down into the simplest terms. If you went into a chip shop and you ordered a curry chip and they give you a gravy chip, you're faced with a problem, you're confronted with a problem. Are you the type of person that just takes the gravy chip and says nothing? Or are you the type of person that says, excuse me, I'm sorry, I actually ordered a curry chip, you've given me a gravy chip, would you change it back to the curry chip? There's many people that would just take the gravy chip and walk away. I'm not that type of person. So I don't go looking for confrontation, but there is something ingrained in my DNA that I do not run from it. I face it up. And honestly, in my early years of life, being from the street and where we grew up and the climate that we grew up with, confrontation did unfortunately on many occasions result in using these rather than these. But over time, I get smarter in using this and less using these. And that's something that you do as you grow and mature. But each scenario makes you smarter in how to confront the situation that you're being confronted with. It doesn't mean that you're going looking for confrontation. It doesn't mean that you're a confrontational person. It just means that you're not shying away from it. And as I say, growing up with having to use these, it wasn't, again, looking for confrontation. It was just the environment you grew up with, the school you went to, the people that you grew up with. There was plenty of sort of dog eat dog and sort of fighting for status type of bravado going on when you were younger. And you had to be able to look after yourself. And sometimes a slagging or a conversation got too heated and you had to be able to defend yourself. Well, the best way to do that is via this. So over the years, I've got a lot better at that and using this via this. And a lot of people don't seem to like that. They're scared by it. They feel threatened by your assertiveness. And as I say, then the put it on to you that you're confrontational. Well, I wouldn't have to be confrontational if I wasn't confronted with something or somebody that had a problem. But I will try and front up and solve it face to face. That's the type of person I am. I would rather do it eyeball to eyeball, and you can get a good spectrum from where you are. So you shouldn't be scared of confrontation. You shouldn't be scared of somebody even labeling you as being confrontational, because out of the who, where, what, when and why, the most important question in all of them is the why. There's no more important for me than the why. Not the who, not the where, not the when, it's the why. And that's something that I feel most of the people that I've grew up with or watch over the years, they've stopped asking why. It's the basic form of your human DNA. When you were a kid, why does that work? Why did they do that? We seem to have lost that. Not only do we seem to have lost it, we seem scared to ask why whenever a decision's made. Well, I don't. I like to get to the crux of why a person made a decision, or why a problem arises, or why we can't solve it in the smartest possible way. So confrontation is something that everybody is going to be faced with on a day-to-day basis. And the more you face up to it, the better you get at it. The more you shy away from it, the more you blend into the background, the more you become more of a problem maker than a problem solver. So don't be scared to have a conversation, even if you're wrong. That's most of the ways that I have learned, is I've been wrong. I've had a conversation, I've had an argument, I've had a fight over the years, and you learn that you were wrong, and then you learn to take a step back, and maybe if you're disagreeing, you'll learn to say, I'm not 100% sure on that, I'll go and do a wee bit more research, and then we can take it up. The old saying is, we'll agree till disagree. So when you're not so sure, you can do things like that. Or but don't be scared to be asking the question of why and confronting the situation, because that is what we need, especially in this day and age. We need more people to stand up for what they believe in. There's a little thing called, in the superhero world, it's called a spidey sense, your instinct. And we should learn to listen to that a lot more. We should learn to push back, and especially when your spidey sense kicks in, learn to trust it, and don't be afraid of an awkward conversation and it getting a bit heated, because then if you are afraid of that, you build this anxiety up and you're scared to confront it. And as I say, the more you do that, the more you subside into the background, the more you front up of it and not being scared to be proved wrong and learn then, the better you will get at having a conversation over rational dialogue, and it not being seen as confrontation. It becomes good, rational, grown-up conversation. I think in this country, one of the things that we have really lost out in, that we don't do, to see that the likes of American stuff do, is have debates. They have open debates. They have kids up in the classroom. They bring up a subject matter. They speak about that subject matter and they're challenged. They have face-to-face debates. That's something that we have never been used to. And hence what I'm saying, back in the old days, it was schoolyard tactics that most of the time, unfortunately, played out. Rather than a battle of minds, it was a battle of fists. But I think we've evolved and adapted a lot more than that. And it's something I try and encourage anybody I know, especially my children, to do, to try and push back and use their brains and get informed and educate yourself and learn to be able to ask why. Yeah. So, as I say, over the next period of weeks and months, I'm going to try and do some little segments like this, a bit personal for anybody that's interested. But I do really want to get a few interviews with people on ground level, people that I'm interested in, stories that I'm interested in that I think are sort of going untold, or maybe interesting to the day-to-day average person from this country. Yeah, so yeah, I look forward to that. Hopefully it'll be something that you're interested in, and in the meantime, don't be scared to ask why.